Hi guys, this is take 2 of this video. I was almost done recording it, and I realized at some point along the way it had stopped recording, and the pop-up box came up and I probably didn't read it, and I just closed it without saving it, so I lost my video. So here we go again. Hopefully this is going to work this time, and I'm going to be a little more careful with the keyboard. I had mentioned in my March video that I had a lot of whips you guys haven't seen yet, and I've gotten a couple of requests to do a video showing all my whips. So here we are. And so I have them all here. They're in sort of an organized chaos kind of format. There's some amount of organization, some amount of random, so they're in the order that they're in. So get some stitching. This might be kind of long. And here's the show. I'm going to start with the ones that you guys know. And I think I was a little better organized on my last video. Yeah. Alright. I think I was a little better organized last time. So, if you've been watching my videos for any length of time, you've seen this 100 times. Mains of the Seasons by Mirabilia. And here's where I am on her. She's getting too big for the camera. So there's where I am. And I don't mention this a lot. I don't know if I've mentioned it all. But the fabric that I'm using is, I'm not sure if it's 28 or 32, but it's Impressionism by the old Sugar Maple Fabric, who, unfortunately for us, has gone out of business. That was a wonderful company. And she's no longer in business. My next whip is just one that I recently pulled out, is the Simple Life Sampler from Cross Stitch and Country Crafts magazine. This is one of my oldest whips. There's a couple in here that I think are older, but this is up there. So there's where I am on that. This one, I didn't bring the picture, but it's incredibly popular. You've all seen it. You all know what it looks like. And if I figure out which side's the front and the back here, I mean the top and the bottom. There's the top. I know what side's the front and the back. This is, of course, Clockwork Hummingbird from the issue 231 of the World of Cross Stitching magazine. The designer is Valentina Sardu, and if you Google her, go to her website, algicidepress.com. She's got some beautiful designs. Clockwork, birds. It's beautiful. I love a lot of the stuff on her site. This is a... See, I was a little bit organized before. This is a whip that was supposed to have made it into my list for... Well, no, not supposed to, but it was possibly going to make it into my list for this year, but it's not going to. This is Bagatelle by Long Dog Designs. And here's my whip. On this piece of fabric is ginormous. But let's see if I can show this without unfolding the whole thing. That's all I've done on it. I just started the top corner. So I think this might make it to my list for next year. Although I have a few designs in mind for next year, and I already see a problem because they're all big and they're all at the beginning. This is going to be a problem. But, you know, I might change my mind 100 times between now and then. This is a whip that I worked on some last year. This is Trade Winds by Teresa Wentzler. And I have, let me sit back a little bit here. I have all of the gold borders done, and I have a little bit of telescope there in the center, and I have, let me move this camera, maybe the camera's the problem. And I have about maybe 2/3 of the left side mermaid done. But I have a long, long way to go on this piece. I tend to drag my feet on my Teresa Wentzlers because they're labor intensive. They take a lot of thought and a lot of concentration and a lot of focus and a lot of energy, and so I tend to drag my feet on them because they often take more than I'm willing to give. This is a recent start that I also don't have a picture of, but y'all know what it looks like. There's a bunch of people stitching it. This is The Bookshelf by Little House Needleworks. I'm hoping to get back to this later this year. Kind of hoping to finish it this year. This was a lot of work to prepare for. Katie, the Stash Queen, I don't know how you do this every week. This was exhausting. Okay. And then I was almost done, and then I had to start over. So this is my favorite TW whip, or my favorite TW in general. Not whip, but in general. This is Stroke of Midnight. And this is where I am on this. This is just the flower pot at the bottom. Or the planner. That's what it's called. It's called the planner. At the bottom. I haven't worked on this in many years. And we're just going to have a little lesson here, boys and girls. This is why you should not cover your edges in masking tape. It doesn't show well on the camera, I don't think. But it's all yellow and crunchy, and this is why you should not use masking tape for the edges of your fabric. This was on my list for last year, and I never really did anything with it. This is Summer Arches by Bent Creek. And this is where I am. I just started that's the watermelon in the center arch. And that's all I've done on it. This is a Mira. This is my adopted Mira of Deco Spirits that I adopted from Melissa. And this is all her work. I have not put any stitches in this yet. And here's the pattern. Deco Spirits by Mirabilia. Here's another Miro whip. This is Deepest Love. And that's what I have done on her. Not a whole lot. I think that's her arm and a little bit of her tail. And that's all I've... or a little bit of her body. That's all I've done on her. Another Miro whip. We're about to have an avalanche here. This is the Kiss. This is the first Miro that I started. Still haven't finished it. Let's move back a little bit here. There's where I am. So I've done some of the sky, and I've done both of their heads and her flowers and a little bit of his clothing. This is probably still a while from being picked up again. This is going to be my Miro for next year. Stuff is flying around over here. Okay. This is going to be my Miro for next year. This is Savannah. So, I'm going to finish Maidens this year, and then I'm going to pick her up. Savannah's Curtsy. And this is where I am on her. I've done her face, and she doesn't have very much face because she's looking down into the side. She's got her head turned. And I've done her neck, or like her chest, and some of her dress, her arm. What intimidates me about this piece is all of the white in her skirt. Oh my gosh. I'm not really looking forward to that. But I'm going to pick her up next year. Let's see. Apparently we're back to TW. And this is the Storyteller. And what I like about this piece is the dragon has just got his chin resting on his hand, and he's listening to this boy tell a story. I just love that. And here's where I am on it. I got a little bit of the border and some of his wing. This is the piece that I started parking on. This is the piece that I learned to park on, and it helps a lot. The confetti in this piece is painful, and the parking helps, oh my gosh, so much. I don't know that I would ever finish this if I didn't park. And just for the fun of it, there's the back. It's a disaster. But you can't park, you can't do that much confetti and have a neat back. You can't do it. Alright. What's this? Oh, this is the kit for the Storyteller. Okay, that over there. Now another TW under the evergreen. And this piece, I talked about this in my TW video, pattern stash video, but I'll tell you again. This piece is a piece that she was asked to chart from a drawing. And the original line drawing is by Judy Jameson, and Just Cross Stitch assigned Teresa to chart it for cross stitch. And Teresa did not enjoy it. She found it very constraining because, you know, she likes to take license and she likes to be able to add things and change things. And, you know, when you're charting somebody else's work, you can't do that. You're limited to the drawing, and she did not enjoy that. And this is where I am on this one. So I'm working on the rocking horse. I'm leaving out the part from the last video where I was trying to figure out which side was right side up. But this is right side up. You guys notice the theme here? Of a lot of barely started projects. Yeah. I have a lot of projects that I put stitches in and then I never touched again. So where's the cover picture for this? I'm gonna save that until I find the cover picture. It's around here somewhere. Here's another Teresa Wentzler. This is the Enchanter, also known as Harry Potter. And he's practicing his spell casting on this poor bird. This was the first piece. We used to have a needlework shop here, and when I discovered her, this was the first thing that I bought from her. She's not there anymore, unfortunately. She retired, and the lady who bought it from her turned it into a knitting and needlepoint shop, and she's not interested in cross stitch, so I haven't been in there in years. This is my progress on Enchanter. I got some of the bird and some of the floor in his books and the leg of his stool. Got a long way to go on that. This is another of my favorite TWs. This one and Stroke of Midnight. Alright. Make sure this is still recording. I'm not doing this again. Okay. Find the cover picture for that. I wonder if that's it. The floor down there. This is a EGA project. We used to have well, they still have it. I don't belong to the chapter anymore, but they would have an event the weekend before Super Bowl called Super Bowl of Stitches. And it was like an all-day event, and they'd hire a teacher to teach a project, and they'd have a lunch, and they'd have a raffle, and it was great fun. I went to several of them, and this is the project from 2006, or 7. This is called Renaissance. It's by a local designer here named Margaret Bendig. And it's a needle book and a pin cushion and a scissor fob. And this is another one of those projects that I worked on at the day of the event, and I haven't touched it since. So that's all I've done on it. This is hard to see. There we go. That's all I've done on it. I think these are silk threads. It's stitched in silk. So that's cool. That might make it to my list for next year. It was intended to be on my list for last year, and I didn't get to it. Alright. And here's another one in that same category of Super Bowl projects. This is called a Stitcher's Kit. And it's a pouch, and inside there's pockets for your scissors and for your needles and for your different tools. And so you stitch the outside and you sew it together. And this is where I am on that. Again, I worked on it the day of the event and didn't touch it again. So that's where I am on that. I'm trying to see if this is cotton or silk. I don't know. But that's where I am on that. Let me look at the threads. These are cotton. I finished a couple of Margaret Bendig designs in late 2014. I finished her canvas Christmas ornament, and I finished her her scissor basket band, a Tisket a Tasket band. Let me see what this is. No. Alright. Still looking for the cover picture for this piece. Alright. So this is a piece that I was supposed to be stitching along with Mackenzie on. And I'll have to insert a picture. I didn't bring the cover picture. But if you've seen Mackenzie's channel, The Lovely Array, she just finished hers. And I'm a terrible stitch-along partner because I've barely put any stitches in mine, and she's finished hers. But this is Quaker Game Board by Papillon Creations. This is also on my list for later this year. I'll insert a picture of that. Here is a little eyeglass case or cell phone case from, it's one of those Stitch and Zip kits from the Alice Peterson Company, and these are the pansies. These kits are great too because you can store all of your supplies inside. They're good take-along projects, travel projects. It'll be a good work project. Right now I have, there's a hair in here. I have Blackwork Hummingbird at work, but this would be a good work project. And here's another one. This is the music one. And I've also barely started this one. You can see I've done the stem on the treble clef and a little bit. I did a little bit of the curve right here. But I haven't done very much on this at all. Or on the other one. This is, let me pick this up. This fell on the floor down here. This is from Vervico. This is from their Popcorn the Bear series. And this is called Hugging. And I changed the fabric on this one. I did this on a piece of light blue. Here's where I am on it. We'll talk about this piece. Here's where I am on it. And this may turn into a UFO. I don't know if I'm going to finish this. I ran out of this color. I think it's this brown color for his blanket. And I contacted the company and they sent me more and it didn't match. And it takes forever to get the threads from Europe. And then I got it as a wedding gift from my friend. I was going to like turn it into a card or something for my friend when he got married. It looks like him and his husband. And but I don't really think that he cares. If I gave it to him, he would appreciate it, but he'd be like, "Oh yeah, that's nice." I don't think that he cares. So I don't know if I'm going to finish this one. because I don't know what I'm going to do about the threads, and I don't think he cares. This is one of my oldest pieces, because I remember working on this in high school. I used to stitch when I was in school. My senior year in high school, I had 4 classes in the morning, and then I was the teacher's assistant for the history class after lunch, and then I was done. I only had 5 classes, and then my friend was the assistant for 6th period. And so I would stay with her, and then we would walk home together. And so if he didn't have anything for me to do, or during 6th period when she was the assistant, I would stitch. And this is what I was working on. This is the Victorian Village Ornaments by Janlin. And they have a village here. They've got the candy store, and there's a gazebo, and there's a firehouse, and the church, and there's a couple of houses, like neighborhood houses. There's a lighthouse. There's the village store there. There's a schoolhouse down here. So they got the whole little village here. And this is where I am. I've done the candy store, and I've done this house down here, and this upside down house in the center is the firehouse that I have not finished. I'm going to pull this out again one day. I like these. They have a lot of back stitching in them. Alright. What's this? Oh, okay. This, let's make sure this is still recording. This is by Heritage Stitchcraft. This is called Winter Shoes. And you can see there's a man taking care of his horse. And it looks like it's like in the early morning hours. They have a whole series of these. And they're all in these sepia tones. And they all look like they're in the early morning hours. And this is another one of those projects that I worked on one day or 2 days or something, and haven't picked up again. If you want to know why I'm not participating in Mania, this is why. There's where I am on it. I have a bunch of projects. I do not need to add more starts. How did I fold this? Here we go. No, that's not it either. Forgive me while I learn how to fold my fabric. There we go. So I'm trying to work through some of these webs. Alright. This is... Oh, I started this one. This was kind of going to be kind of a joke for a friend. I don't think that she'll appreciate it, though, so I'm not going to give it to her. But this is Eeyore. Disney's Eeyore. And I changed the fabric from the white 8. I accidentally pressed that button again, but I saved it this time. Anyway, as I was saying, Eeyore. And I changed the fabric from the white Aida. I changed it to this blue, this light blue. That's all I've done on him. That's the line of stitches across his body somewhere. Probably like at the top. This isn't going well. Alright. This is... Oh, I have to insert a picture of this. I don't have a picture with me. I probably didn't print it. But this is my one and only Hade whip. This is the freebie of Flower Bride. And it's the Story Keep. And that's all I've done on her. I think it's about 230 stitches. I started it for the Hade Sal in December 2014. And I haven't hardly touched her. Okay. This, I started on a plane ride. Because I needed something to do on the plane. This is Dimension Gold Collection, Amaryllis in Bloom. And this is all that I've done on it. I think I worked on it on that plane ride, and that's it. That's all I've done. This is also a gold collection Petites, and this has a story. There used to be a group here in Southern California that would get together every so often, and meet at this lady's house who lived in Ventura. And she passed away recently, but I went up there one time, and I was sitting on the couch stitching, and they all got up, and they all went in the dining room, and they're like, "Come on, Laura, we're having birthday cake." And I was like, "Oh, whose birthday is it?" And I got to the table, and the cake said, "Happy birthday, Laurel," and I was like, "Oh, it's mine." So they were kind enough to get me a present, and what they got me was, they got me Mai from the Dimensions Gold Collection Petites, and this is on a piece of 36 counts Edinburgh linen, I think. This is what I've done on her. It's on a light blue, like a hand-dyed light blue. I remember having a little trouble with the 36 count. This was supposed to make it into my list for last year, and it didn't. This is Janlen's Retrievers, and I love the dogs. I wish I could have a dog. I'd like to have a dog, but I'm not really in a very good place to take care of one appropriately, so I don't have one, but I would love to have one. But I'll have to settle for stitching them. This is an old whip, and this and Amaryllis and Bloom, I think, are my only two whips that are left on Ada. This is where I am. It looks like Chinese characters, actually. But eventually it's going to be a black retriever. This, I'll show that with another whip later on, I hope. I'll show that when I find the cover picture of the other one. This is a piece that was hanging as a model in that needles workshop that I used to have where she sold it. And I would admire it, and finally one day I asked her, I said, "What piece is that?" And she told me what it was, but it was, it was 25 years old by that point. It was out of print. And so I had to stalk eBay for it, and I found it. And it is Kimono by Donna Gallagher. And the piece that I'm doing is this one up here. in the top corner. And it's the Asian one. Well, I mean, all kimonos are Asian, but it has the Asian motif on it with the bonsai trees and the crane. And this is another one of those. This was a New Year's start one year. There's a practice that I've given up. And if you need evidence why, this video is why I've given that practice up. Sometimes I still start a project for my birthday, but there's where I got on it. And I probably stopped working on it because those straight lines were really boring. This is Kimono by Donna Gallagher. This piece, I'm kind of disappointed not to see more of this designer floating around Facebook. This is The Silver Lining, Mark Sastad. And this is Jeannie's Blue Blast. And Jeannie used to be a member of the Teresa Winston Bulletin Board back in the day. And she was friendly with Mark. And so he named this piece for her. And Jeannie passed away not too long ago, actually. But this is one of his blue irises. And if you are not familiar with The Silver Lining and you like to stitch realistic flowers, go to his website, thesilverliningonline.com. He's got all kinds of flowers, roses, irises, pansies, tulips, whatever flower you want, violets, anything you could want. He's got them in different colors and different varieties, and they're very detailed. They're all over one. They're designed to be stitched over one, because if you stitch them over two, they will be freakishly large. But they're beautiful, and he combines Anchor and DMC in most of his designs because to get the color range that he needs. DMC is kind of limited, particularly in the purple ranges. But go check it out if you like flowers. He also has some other things. He has some lighthouses, some Santas. He's got some other things. But he does awesome work. I was privileged to meet him once, and he's a very, very nice man. And my whip of that is here. I don't know which side's up, right side up or down. Oh, I guess this is up. Alright. So, there's my whip of Jeannie's Blue Blast. And this, actually, just a little tangent side note here. This is when I sorted the floss, I sorted them by color family because it's got a large floss list. So I have blues. Don't want to put anything on my keyboard. I have purples. I have yellows. Lots and lots of greens. This is one where it was easier to separate the floss by color family, because the floss list is so large. Okay, so that was Jeannie's Blue Blast. This is by Prairie Moon. This is Linus the Trick in the Treats. And I think I may have started this as part of a stitch along at some point a few years ago. I want to say like in 2011 or 12. And I think it has a companion piece. I recently ran across what I think is a companion piece. I don't remember the name of it. But I am stitching this, and the only reason that I know this is 32 count is because the tag right here says so. On 32 count flapper by Picture This Plus. And I guess this is the top. That's where I am on it. I've just done part of the top border. Okay, so yeah, that was my mom on the phone. So we were at Linus the Trick in the Treats. So while I was talking to my mom, I found the picture for the other piece that I was going to show you. So this is called Per 16th Century, and it's by the California Stitchery. They used to have another name. I can't think of what their other name was. But the California Stitchery is a company here in Southern California that does, they do a lot of Jewish crafting, Jewish cross-stitch, needlepoint. They do some custom work for Jewish apparel, like prayer shawls and bar mitzvah. What's the word I'm looking for? And I think they have some children's stuff like paint by number, and they do a lot of Jewish themed stuff. And so I have this one for 16th century, and it's all in black. And this one, surprisingly enough, I've actually made like significant progress on. It's not, 1 day's worth of stitching. So there's where I am on that. I got the rabbi, and I got the worshiper, and I believe that person down there in the corner reading the prayer book is called the Aliyah. And there's over here there's a menorah over here. And so there's where I am on that. One of the few pieces that's not at the beginning. I don't need mania. I have enough to do here. And then my other Jewish themed piece that I have, since I'll just show them together. This is by Dutch Street Designs. This is a Shabbat table topper. And this is where I am on this. I've got 2 of the 8 blocks done. There's the 8 blocks, and then there's a border in the center, around the center block. So I got the menorah. There's the menorah block, and then there's a block with the Torahs and the Star of David. The center border here is grapes. I hope you can see that. I can't see what you're seeing. And then the outside border is, I haven't put it in yet, but the outside border down here at the bottom has a water, what is it? Water lilies, Karen water lilies color. Yeah. Or it's called watercolors, and this is Mediterranean. It's like a pearl cotton, and then the rest of the design is all stitched in pearl cotton. It's stitched on this, like, I think it's called Ann cloth. It's like that Afghan fabric, and I actually don't particularly like the fabric. It's kind of scratchy, and I don't particularly like stitching on it. And this one got dirty back here. I'm not really sure what that is or how that happened. I hope it comes out though. And since you're probably asking, I'll answer your question. No, I am not Jewish. My my dad was Jewish. My dad was Jewish. But most Jewish sects don't consider you Jewish unless your mother was Jewish, and my mother is not Jewish. So by most standards, I would not be considered Jewish. And I, in practice, I practice Christianity. I do not practice Judaism. But when I was in college, there is a sect of Jews who believe in Jesus, and they believe that Jesus is the Messiah. But they keep their traditional Jewish ways for a lot of things, and their services, they hold them on Saturdays, and they have a lot of elements of the traditional synagogue service. And my roommate and I, when I was in college, my roommate and I used to go. There was a congregation local to us, and it was very interesting. It was very educational. You learn a lot about Christianity. You learn a lot about the Bible. It was very interesting. And the rabbi who leads that congregation down there is a very kind man, very knowledgeable, very active in Messianic Jewish circles and evangelical Christian circles. So I miss it. I don't even think they're there anymore. There used to be a congregation here, and I went to that service once, but it wasn't nearly as well organized. It wasn't nearly as well done. I knew somebody else who was going there, and she said they had a lot of political problems, and the leadership was kind of immature, and she had quit going. So I don't even know that they're still there anymore. But so there's my little tangents about Judaism and Christianity. But no, I like to stitch. I have a few Jewish things, a few Jewish trinkets. I have an Israel flag up here, but I am not Jewish. Alright. We're getting to the end of this, you guys. This may be my oldest whip. I think I also started this in high school. And this is another one that's kind of on the bubble. I don't know that I'm ever going to finish this. It's really pretty, or it's really cute. I really like it, but I don't know that I'm ever going to finish this. This is a needlepoint stocking, and it's a bear, and it's really cute. He's playing with the top, and he's got the balloons above him, wearing a Santa hat. It's really cute. I haven't looked at this in years, to tell you the truth. Where is it? Here it is. I don't know how much of this I've done, so I guess we will find out together how much of this Laurel has. There's where I am. I've done some of his scarf, and some of his leg, or his foot. I guess that's the bottom of his foot. And some of the background here. But that's all I've done. Yeah. I like it. I may end up giving it away. I don't know that I'll ever finish it. I'm running out of space over here. Alright. There's Jeannie. Actually, I think that's the table topper. This is another EGA piece. I don't have a picture of it. It was a mystery. It's called, and this is from probably 15 years ago. It's called Mystery with a Little Glitz, and it's by a needlepoint designer named Gayanne Rogers. And I remember it was in 3 parts, and I have the pattern pieces somewhere. But this is all I've done on it. I've done the center diamond, and I started on the outside. I've seen it stitched up. Some of the other women that were in the EGA chapter with me finished theirs. I think a few of them had entered them in the fair. Probably got ribbons for them. But that's as far as I got on it. This is a recent start. This is His Eye is on the Sparrow by the Heartstring Samplery. It's very, very large. And I showed this in January because I started at Christmas Day. Maybe I showed it in December. I started at Christmas Day. But there is my microscopic start on it. I've barely done anything on it. It's over. I've decided to do it. Well, I had decided to do it over one because when I bought the fabric, I didn't want to spend the money to do it over two. I'm kind of rethinking that plan. I might go ahead and get new fabric and do it over two. Because the over one has kind of left me intimidated and overwhelmed. So, and you can see I have very little done, so it's not going to be a big deal if I decide to start over. I might do that. My buddy Kevin Tober has asked me to stitch along on it with him. We'll see. I'm working on making room for you, Kevin. So there's His Eye is on the Sparrow, and I think this is the last piece. And I recently showed this because this is another old WIP that I recently pulled out. This is the Ohio Map by SP Ink. And this is on my list for later this year. And this is what I've done on it, just the very center. There's Columbus. It says, well, eventually it's going to say Allegheny Plateau. There's the river, some of the mountains. But that's all I've done on it. This will come out to play later this year. Hopefully it'll be done in time for Christmas for my mom. So there you guys go. There's all my WIPs. I think there's 40 or close to 40 of them. Oh, I have one more. Well, I'll show you what I have. This is a WIP. This is Mill Hill Squirrel. And I got all the pieces to it. I have a sunflower needle minder there. Don't know where the piece is, the little piece of paper that I started it on. Don't know where the cover picture is. So, here's another WIP. Not sure where the rest of it is. I'm going to have to find it. So, and I think that's it. So, I have plenty to do. I have a lot of WIPs, and a lot of them are at the very beginning. So, I'm going to focus on... This is why I'm not participating in Mania, and I don't participate in a lot of things that require a new start. I kind of limit my new starts because I'm trying to get through some of this list. I'm trying to reduce my WIPs because it's out of control. So, I will see you guys next time. Happy stitching. Bye.